So, Ricky, lovely to see you. Now, you're in England and you're bringing your one-man show. Tell me all about it.
This is a show I put together about 11 years ago. Some friends of mine who are all musicians, we were sitting around one day. I had actually worked as a still photographer on Dad's NBC show that he had every Thursday night in the States as a photographer. So I had all this source material of photographs. My mom, of course, Jeannie, had coffee table books of the old days at the Sands Hotel and the performances that he did with the Rat Pack. And I thought, well, why not, with all this material, all these photos, sing his songs, tell stories, go into the audience. So we all got together, put a show together, and have been performing for the last 12, 13 years, mostly in the States, casinos. His fans are still there. And it took off there, and we're just absolutely thrilled to be here performing in the UK. We're just beside ourselves.
But why is it taking you so long to come and see us in the UK? Because he's so well loved here, and you must have found that out now just turning up,
Neil, I have not been invited until now, so I have no explanation for that. But we have been dying to get here. It's a logistical, kind of situation. I have 4 other guys, very, very small group. But it's tight-knit. We've been friends for decades, and the show is kind of reminiscent of Dad's show, where, if you remember, Dad could never get through one performance. He would never sing a song straight through. He would always do some kind of bit, and the show's kind of the same. We don't take ourselves too seriously, but it is an intimate kind of afternoon or evening with Dean's son celebrating Dad's life.
You've got a book that you wrote. I mean, was that good for you to write it all out about your personal memories?
It was definitely a cathartic experience. It was a labor of love. Once I got into it, when you get it up here, yes, I'm going to write a book. Then when you actually have to put pen to paper,
it's harder than it looks.
Oh my goodness! And I did have Christopher Smith, who co-wrote it with me, who actually did the actual penmanship. But it was something that I felt. I was married at the time. I'm divorced. Have 3 older daughters. But I wanted to leave them with something, and everyone else for that matter, of how incredible the man was, but what an unusually fortunate life that I have had in being born Dean and Jeannie's son. It's absolutely amazing. So for nothing other than just that, to get it down. And, as you get older, I don't know about you, but, you start forgetting things, Neil.
No.
Where am I? As a matter of fact.
Where are we? Who are you?
And so I figured I better get this thing done. And it was, and in retrospect, as a biography, it's there in libraries, it's all over. And I still get letters about, what an effect and impact Dad had on people's lives. As I do after the shows, I always do a meet and greet. And the stories I am told, especially by the women, by the way, it's quite something.
Also, I was looking on the net and I found you'd done some music yourself. You were a sort of pop star. You had tell me about that period. Because I always find this fascinating. You've got, I think, a very nice voice, a very, very, melodic voice. I like the track from, I think, we won't say the 80s, but it's a few years back.
Sure,
I like
course.
the track.
Yeah,
But when you were doing that, did you think, I want to become a pop star? And what did your dad think to you wanting to be a pop star?
It was, I've been close with the Beach Boys for years. My brother, Dean Paul, was with Desi Arnaz Jr. and Billy Hinchy in a band called Dino, Desi, and Billy back in the 60s. Billy, of course, was married to Annie, who was married to Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys. Brian Wilson, Carl Wilson, Dennis Wilson, the 3 founding members.
Celebrity go-round, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, small town,
Yeah.
Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
But Beverly Hills, Neil, in the 50s again, 50s, early 60s, completely different place than it is now. So everyone was kind of tight, a tight-knit unit. And Carl, I was playing piano, always being around Dad, of course. Music was in the blood. Carl said, well, God, I love that song. Let's record it. The record turned into an album, and then went out and was the opening act for the Beach Boys back in 1977. Okay. Did Central Park, Canadian, the CNE. You know, had all those aspirations, but at a different time because, you know, nowadays with iTunes and so on and so forth, Pro Tools, you could do so much on your own. In those days, you needed a full-fledged studio, the rack jobbers to put them in the stores, distribution, all that kind of stuff. So you really had to have a whole, there had to be truly magic going on for it to actually work. But it was a great learning experience. It got me into the production end, then went to California Institute of the Arts for cinematography, which rolled over into the music when Carl asked me to record. So it was a great learning experience. And yes, to have been a pop star at the time would have been great. But it gave me the foundation to one day say, hey guys, as we were getting a little older, let's throw a show together to celebrate Dad. And everyone said, well, this is a no-brainer.
Ricky, it's been a real pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for coming in. It's honestly, I could talk to you all day.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.